Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the Bitcoin chart is flashing a new bullish signal, right as this bullish pattern has almost come to completion. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, but first let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, and just giving you a really quick recap. First of all, around 4 to 5 days ago, we were looking at this bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin stayed bearish in the shorter term for the next few days or so. But I mentioned yesterday that the RSI is potentially breaking out, and we are potentially seeing a bullish cross in the 4-hour MACD, which are both short-term bullish signals telling us that this bearish divergence is coming to completion. And obviously only a matter of hours after we saw these bullish signals that I talked about, we saw a nice pump in the Bitcoin price. But something else that I've been talking about over the past few days is the 12-hour parabolic stop and reverse indicator, because it was sitting in the red, which means in the shorter term we were looking slightly bearish here. And I mentioned yesterday that the level that Bitcoin needs to break above in order to flip bullish in this indicator is coming in at around 44,000, and recently Bitcoin has broken above 44,000, which simply means we have now confirmed a bullish flip in the parabolic stop and reverse indicator on the 12-hour time frame, which is clearly a bullish signal. But while we're talking about the 12-hour time frame, we are still yet to see the 12-hour price oscillators flip bullish again. For example, in the 12-hour MACD, we are getting close to a bullish cross, but we aren't there just yet at the time of recording this video. So that is something that we still need to see, and of course we need to also confirm that with a 12-hour candle close. And then looking in the 12-hour RSI, right now we are still technically in lower highs, so we definitely need to get this into a new higher high, especially if the price action breaks into a new higher high, because in a more bearish scenario, if the price action breaks into a slight new higher high, we get a bit of resistance there, and if the RSI stays in lower highs, obviously that would be another bearish divergence, which would not be good for Bitcoin in the shorter term. So these are just some of the things that I will be paying attention to over the next few days for Bitcoin. But for now, in the shorter term, according to indicators like this, and according to the breakout in the price oscillators on the 4-hour time frame, technically speaking, we are leaning slightly more bullish than we are bearish in the immediate short term. And on top of that, Bitcoin has just seen a perfect bounce from this previous 23.6% Fibonacci level on the daily time frame, and this level is coming in at around 41,500 US dollars per Bitcoin. So obviously it is great to see a bounce from that important level. But with that being said, we still have a lot of resistance to the upside for Bitcoin. For example, the 38.2% fib, which is coming in at around 46 to 47,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. And while we're here on the daily time frame, we are of course forming this inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is technically a bullish pattern. I've mentioned this over the past couple days in my Ethereum update videos, but I keep forgetting to add it in my Bitcoin videos. But anyway, here we are, and you can clearly see that we've already formed a left shoulder, we've already formed the head and the right shoulder, which is pretty much coming to completion now. But it is important to mention that we still need to see a confirmed breakout above the neckline in order to confirm the next price target for Bitcoin. And this neckline is coming in close to 45,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin can break above these candle wicks just here, that would be even better, because then Bitcoin would be putting in a brand new higher high, and the tops of those candle wicks are coming in closer towards 46,000 once again. And if we do see a confirmed breakout above this neckline, then a conservative Bitcoin price target would be coming into play at around 56,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. But like I said, that is slightly more conservative because that is measuring from these daily candle closes. If you're actually measuring from the low here, from the bottom of this candle wick, then in that case, obviously that gives us a slightly higher price target, up towards around 59,000 to nearly 60,000 US dollars per Bitcoin. So basically, if we see a strong breakout in the Bitcoin price above this high right here that we saw around a week ago, then according to this pattern, Bitcoin would likely head up towards the high $50,000 price range. And there's a couple important things to mention here. First of all, this pattern invalidates if we break out to the upside and then hit the price target, and also this pattern invalidates if we break out to the upside and come back down below the neckline. And apart from that, it is also important to mention that we would still have some point of resistance along the way in between the breakout and the technical price target, if we actually confirm the breakout, that is. But something that I recently did a couple days ago on the channel was compare the current Bitcoin price on the daily time frame to the Bitcoin price that we saw in the very beginning of August. Because first of all, leading up to the end of July, we saw a lot of bearish price action, multi-months worth of bearish price action, similar to what we have seen since around November all the way up until pretty much the end of January. And then if you're looking at the end of July 2021, initially we saw a very fast recovery, leaving a lot of investors and traders very confused because we went from a very bearish time to a very bullish time. And then we became a little bit too overheated in the shorter term, so we were due for a short-term cool-off that lasted for around 4 to 5 days approximately before we continued on our move to the upside. And if you're looking at the recent Bitcoin price action, that is almost exactly what we have seen over the past few weeks. And even the market sentiment is very similar. We still have a lot of bearish people in the market right now, similar to what we saw back then. If you were in the market back in July and August last year, you would know what I'm talking about. And so basically the next leg to the upside would potentially be more confirmed once we start breaking above this high that I just mentioned when I was talking about this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And don't forget about the fact that the larger timeframes like this 4-day timeframe has not flipped bearish one time over the past 1 to 2 weeks. In fact, out of all of the different indicators and signals that I've mentioned recently on the channel, this indicator on this 4-day timeframe for Bitcoin has proven to be one of the most accurate indicators. If I zoom out further on the chart, you can see what I mean. Pretty much every single time where this indicator on this timeframe flips into the green, we basically see a lot more bullish price action for Bitcoin. And by a lot more bullish price action, what I mean is at least a multi-week uptrend, if not a multi-month uptrend in some circumstances. And once again, we have only just seen this indicator flip bullish here on this time frame a little over a week ago, so we are still potentially in the early stages of this move to the upside. On top of that, something that the longer term subscribers would already know by now is the breakout in the 3-day RSI. I have been talking about this for pretty much the last 2 months because this can also be used as another signal to determine a possible trend reversal of some kind. And the same can be said about the 3-day MACD having a bullish cross. If you're simply taking a look at the last couple times where we saw a bullish cross in the 3-day MACD, that led into a lot more bullish price action for Bitcoin that lasted for at least a few weeks. And more importantly, we haven't just seen any bullish cross. This bullish cross in the 3-day MACD happened well in negative territory, similar to what we saw back in July 2021, and obviously you saw what came next. Now, this Crypto World channel is certainly not a political channel, so I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I thought this piece of news is strongly related to the value proposition for Bitcoin, so it's worth covering in this video. So in case you haven't heard already, basically the Canadian government has just given banks the power to immediately freeze or suspend bank accounts without a court order and be protected from civil liability, which basically means that your access to your money can be frozen or taken away at any time, and that can happen on the bank's decision. And on top of all of that, you cannot sue the bank. And over on my Twitter, I basically added in here that this is a great advertisement for Bitcoin, because if you have Bitcoin sitting in a cold storage, so Bitcoin off an exchange, then there is simply no bank and no government that can freeze your Bitcoin. So essentially, Bitcoin gives freedom back to the people over their own money, which is why this whole scenario is giving a great advertisement for Bitcoin. And if you want to stay up to date in the crypto market and also up to date in the news, then make sure you follow me over on my Twitter, and you'll find a link to my Twitter in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. But anyway, if you found this video useful or simply enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important updates that I post every single day. And also, if you are new to the channel, be sure to check out one of these uploads that are popping up right here. I've got a complete trading tutorial video and a passive income video, which are both there to help you make more money in the crypto markets. But anyway, that is it for this update. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.